Hi everyone, and happy Wednesday. I'm Kylene Terhune. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, and I'm really excited to welcome all the new members, so welcome. If this is your first time watching a live video, I would love to hear from you. Just drop your name below. But if you're here and you're a veteran or you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and click like so I know you're here, and as always, drop questions below, before, during, or after, and I'm happy to get to them later. So today I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind recently, and that is the dangers of going gluten-free. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that we have been gluten-free for about 5 to 6 years now, and that I vehemently preach it to all my clients that it has to be 100%, that it makes the biggest difference. I've never, ever had a client, family member, or friend go gluten-free and not see some sort of result. So if you want to look at previous videos, go back into the files and you can check those out. But today I wanted to talk about something that may be a little controversial, and they are things that I wish I knew years and years ago. Hello, whoever just joined, hey Lisa. And so today I'm going to talk about the dangers of going gluten-free, and really what I mean is things to be aware of when you go gluten-free. So the first one that I want to talk about is going from a regular standard American diet to a gluten-free diet. Typically, we just substitute, right? So that's what I did the first time that I went gluten-free. I didn't know what I was doing. And so I took regular Oreos, which I was totally obsessed with, by the way, and I switched over to gluten-free Oreos. So the danger here, number one, is all you're doing is transitioning to a different version of a processed diet. So gluten-free foods still have a lot of sugar in them. They still have, with the substitutes for gluten are a lot of starches. And so when you are eliminating gluten, the last thing you want to do is start eating all these different new ingredients that put you on this blood sugar roller coaster, and then you have all these energy issues. So that's number one. So when you decide to go gluten-free, whether it's because you're doing Whole30 or because you just want to try it out, or whatever your motivation is, if it's for a health purpose, whatever, try to avoid number one, which is just switching over to a processed foods diet. Try to switch over to a natural whole foods diet. And that naturally is gluten-free, right? If we think about it, gluten is a processed food, wheat is a processed food, flour is in a lot of processed foods. And so if you naturally go to a whole foods diet, you're probably going to be, if not 100%, mostly gluten-free. So that brings me to number two. One thing that is really common is when you go gluten-free, you feel amazing at first. I know I rolled out of bed with energy, which was shocking for me because I was never, ever a morning person. I mean, it was crazy that I could roll out of bed and have energy and be able to go to school at an 8 a.m. class and not be exhausted. But what happens a lot is that once you've been on this diet for a period of time, you may end up getting fatigued, and you may see some of your old symptoms coming back, or maybe some new symptoms coming in. And one of the reasons this can happen is because of a lack of nutrients. So if you're not careful to, when you remove something out of your diet, replace it with a lot of good nutrients, then you're putting yourself down this road where you're more likely to be nutrient deficient. So just as an example, wheat flour has a lot of B vitamins in it and some fiber and things like that. That's why people tout it as so good for you, right? They kind of ignore the science that shows it causes inflammation, and it's a high allergen for like everyone. And they say, oh, it's got B vitamins, oh, it's got fiber, oh, it's good for you. So it is true that those things are in there. So if you just eliminate that completely out of your diet and you're not replacing them with other food sources that have B vitamins, that have micronutrients, you may end up seeing some symptoms later down the road, like adrenal fatigue, like chronic fatigue, like exhaustion, maybe some hormonal issues and things like that. And you're thinking, I'm eating healthier now than I ever was before. But what may have been happening is that you actually stripped out some much needed nutrients for your body. So that's the second thing to think about. The third thing to think about is a lot of times when we switch to a whole foods diet or a gluten-free diet or a paleo diet, we can accidentally go too low carb. This is very, very easy to do, especially in the paleo world, because we're focusing so much on whole foods, and paleo is grain-free completely. So depending on how much you embrace paleo, I'm a shade of paleo, and we can get into that in a little bit, but depending on how truly paleo you are, you can be eliminating all the grains. And if you're doing that, it's very, 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 very easy to go too low carb. And why is this a problem? Well, it's a problem for men, but it's mostly a problem for women because we need carbohydrates. We need them for energy. We need them for our brain. We need them for our cells. We need them for our hormones. It's very, very important for our hormones and for our hormone regulation that we have enough carbohydrates. If you are someone that is doing a CrossFit lifestyle, or not even CrossFit, but you work out 3-4 times a week and you're lifting weights, and you go super low carb for a long period of time, you are going to hit a wall, and you're going to experience those other symptoms like we talked about. I'm eating as healthy as I've ever eaten. I'm better than I ever was. I'm eating just great whole foods all the time, but I'm exhausted, or I can't get through my workout, or I'm starting to see adrenal fatigue issues, or I have a headache. And again, that's because it's very easy to go too low carb. So make sure that you know how your body actually responds to carbohydrates. So for most people, things like organic white rice or sprouted quinoa or things like that are things that they can add in. Now, some people cannot, and that's okay. You can still focus on getting enough carbohydrates in through fruit and vegetables. So things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, apples, like pretty much any fruit is a carb. And then you can focus on higher carbohydrate vegetables, like squash is a great example of that, zucchini, things like that. And so if you think that this may be a concern for you, maybe you've accidentally gone too low carb, like I said, it's super easy to do. Track your macronutrients in MyFitnessPal for a couple days and just see where your ranges are. If it's somewhere between the range of like 5 to 15% of your macronutrients, you might be too low carb, and you may need to start experimenting. Oh, plantain chips and sweet potato chips are another great, super easy way to get carbohydrates in. They're super yummy, and if you've never made, you can buy those, but if you've never made plantain chips, my husband and I went to Punta Cana this summer, and we had fried plantains like every single day. It was the best thing ever, and I came home and I made them like every single day for a week, and it's super easy. You just get a plantain, you chop it up, you fry it in some coconut oil, pan fry it. And what's cool about plantains is you can make them sort of savory or sweet. So the greener the plantain is, the more savory, the more chip-like it is, and it's good with salty stuff. And the riper, the darker, the blacker a plantain is, the sweeter it is. And so you can fry that up in some coconut oil, maybe put some cinnamon on it and make it almost like a dessert. So those are a couple ideas for you. But if you guys have any questions, drop them below. But these are just a few things to think about. So one, when you go gluten-free, try to avoid danger number 1, which is just going to a different version of a processed diet. Try to avoid danger number 2, which is mineral and nutrient deficiencies, so specifically B vitamins and selenium and things like that, and iron. And avoid danger number 3, which is accidentally going too low carb. And if you guys need recipe ideas, I have recently come out with my free ebook, 21 Meals in 21 Minutes. That is free for download, so I will make sure that the link is above, and you can click that at any time and get 21 dinners that are super family friendly, super delicious, and super fast to make. All right guys, I will talk to you later. I hope you have a great day.